Right, so that should be set. Ready to go. All right, stand please for the opening karakia, and then we will get started.
Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai, e hiake ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he hau hunga, ti hei mauri ora.
Right, and with that, we open the meeting at 4:34 p.m. on this day, the 17th of August. So just a reminder, the meeting's live streamed and a recording will be available online for anyone on the Community Board's YouTube channel afterwards if you need to go back and have a look for anything. So first up on the agenda, we have apologies, of which we have an apology for lateness from James Goff, David to move, and Bridget to second. All in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Thank you very much. Declarations of interest. There are no declarations that have been made, so if anything does come up during the meeting, then just let us know and then we can deal with it at the time. Moving on to item number 3, being confirmation of the previous minutes. So I am happy to move those. If I could have a seconder. To second those minutes. Thank you very much. All in favour? Against? Carried. Great. With that, we move on to item number 4, being public forums. So first public forum we have today is Belfast Area Residents Association, and we have Charlotte coming to speak. So this 5 minutes, including time for questions. The floor is yours, Charlotte, and I think we have a presentation that you want to.
Yeah, so with Aiden's all over it. Aiden's got, you got to have some pretty pictures in these things, don't we? Keep you interested.
That's right.
First time I came to the community board was in February 2024, and it was primarily because of burnout activity in Belfast. The solution was the community board and the council hooked me up with the anti-social road user unit police force, and we've been raising community funds and spent 28,000 over the last couple of years, and we've pretty much nailed it. We've had over 30 convictions, we've thwarted meetups where 30 to 40 vehicles are gathering in our district to do some illegal activity, and the one place that really drives me nuts, and I have not been able to get on top of it, is March Place, and this is where I'm asking for your assistance. So why March Place is such an important place for our community, next slide, is it's part of a thoroughfare that services our community hub. So we have our Belfast Bowling Club, we have our school, we have our skateboard park, we have our Belfast Rugby Club, Belfast Community Network, and the play centre, all off this Sheldon Park. So because Main North Road is only a one way, it's got that big island in the middle, you can't go out and hang a right. So the March Place route actually creates a loop, so to speak, and it's very popular. But it's not something, the burnout activity and that feel that you get when you see it, it creates not an inviting community, but it has an insinuation of quite a lot of violence and disruption, and that's the last thing we want our community to be known for. So I actually have a permanent CCTV camera installation there, and if you scroll onto a couple more slides, this is not just isolated to night, it's also during the day, and the next one is the nighttime views. That's just a wee sample of some of the stuff that we get. So it's very disruptive to the community. We've got children going to use our school pool, using this as a thoroughfare, and it's one thing that I really need your help to get on top of. One of my solutions, next slide please, Aiden, is to put an island in the middle. So you stop that ability to be able to spin. It can be a nice green space. You still need to be able to provide for car parking, but it is particularly wide. We could throw some trees in it and get Parks Department all very excited about it. And that is the entry to our community park that we really should have and promote. Next slide. Oh, this is just, the benefits of a central island. It slows traffic down because a lot of people do hoon into that Belfast Rugby Club. Some of you may think, it might be the rugby club chaps having a few bevies and doing wee burnout on their way up, but funny enough, they're not. And I've been watching very closely because they're ones that I could target very quickly. But no, it's not them. And I do have the support of the Belfast Rugby Club to put a central island in as well. So please help me see if we can make some progress and get an island put in a March Place.
Does anyone have any questions on that one?
Just one question. Amazing. Thank you for coming to the board. Really cool initiative. You did mention, and I'm just curious because obviously you mentioned before that you raised funds for what you've been doing for some of this community safety stuff. Would there be appetite for the community to contribute towards some funding for something like that?
I hadn't considered it, but throw it in the ear. We don't usually pay for funds on council property, and that's them. But
it's something that
let's just. Well, I'm a solution focused person, so if money is going to hold us up, then I'll find another way.
Just curious.
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So I like the idea of the garden. That would be more expensive than a concrete hump.
Yes.
A big round concrete pad in the middle, raised. So if you hit it and you break the axle, if you drive around it properly, you're fine. Would that be a consideration? Because that'd be a lot cheaper for a chunk of concrete.
I could look at that. I just thought it was just more aesthetic.
The garden. Yeah, garden would be great.
But I appreciate there's more maintenance ongoing, etc. So
No, a garden would look good.
yeah. So do we talk to the traffic department and see if we can cost something up and go from there?
Yeah,
Just for an idea there, we thought about making it a weight restricted road like we do after hours, so vehicles under 3.5 tonne can't drive there after 8 o'clock at night or whatever it is. It may help with enforcement, but
well, there's still enforcers, so they're the same people that are enforcing the burnouts.
Yeah, and the trick is just catching them on camera. It's just the safest way for everybody. We just get everybody out of the way and just the police can process it when they want to.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a good proposal. We'll work with staff and put some options together and see what we can do, and then we'll be in touch.
Very much.
Charlotte.
We should reward solutions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seriously, it's great because people come along with a problem, but they don't often go, "Hey, what do I want to do about it?"
Yeah.
With stuff like this, we should do our best to help.
And without blowing smoke up, but I found all of you very proactive in that type of area. So thank you.
Oh, it's guaranteed now.
Thanks for bringing the morning.
Cool.
Thank you. Thanks, Charlotte. Right, next up on the public forums, we have Russley Golf Club. So we have Mark Beatson and or Tony Marriott of the golf club will come in and speak to us regarding the Russley Gateway project. So take a step back.
Thank you, Mark Beatson. Thanks, everybody. I'm the men's club captain of the Russley Golf Club, and I'm contracted to the club as I'm doing some work out there as well. Just so you know, Russley Golf Club is an incorporated society, so there's no private ownership at all. Just an overview of what I want to talk about here. The Gateway project is fundamentally an intention to remove a very ugly and old macrocarpa hedge, which is on Memorial Avenue at the moment. Most of you will have seen it when you drive in from the airport, and replace that with plantings and a pole fence to make it a much more visually appealing entrance to Christchurch, which will do two things: make our first impression as a city look a hell of a lot better, and also provide security to the golf club and also to the public for people using the footpath particularly in the dark, and accessing their cars time. Advantages, creates a positive first visual impression, as I've just said, of the parkland vista, improves the safety for the public, improves security for the cars parked, removes the risk of slipping on ice in frosty mornings. At the moment, this time of year, it's quite dangerous at times. So that's just a hazard. And also, if these trees, this hedge gets any older, we do have a risk of falling tree branches and damage to cars and or people. We are wanting to work most closely with our members. That will be the primary source of being able to fund the removal of the hedge and implement a new fence. But we would like to get into a collaborative relationship, obviously, with council and Christchurch International Airport, who we are also talking to about this project. And we've also engaged Trees for Canterbury, which most of you will know about, to help us with the beautification post removal of the hedge. So we want to really engage with the community in that space. Cost of doing this is it's actually it says 149,000 on there. It's actually 159. We've already had $10,000 from the Rustley Trust, which is the Rustley Development Trust, which is a separate entity to the club, but it will add further to the funding, although that's not the key purpose of that trust. It's for other things to do with the club. So the funding trust members, interested parties, which may or may not include council and the like, and fundraising events, which will include members. And quite simply, the reason for coming along today, say hi, let you know what we'd like to do, and I can't stress enough, and I've spoken to one or two of you around the table around the advantage here. We see it as a real advantage for the club, but Christchurch, that gateway to Christchurch looking really sharp. When you come in out of the airport, on the right hand side, we're most likely going to have commercial development, as I understand it. To the left, at the moment, you've got a big and ugly hedge, and make that a nice parkland vista. Make it one of the best entrances to any city in New Zealand, and even globally. There's not many airports that you come out of that you have a nice vista. So the whole idea today is to socialise with you guys the vision to create an improved visual and practical entrance to Christchurch, with a view to obtaining assistance from council to get the best result for the city and the club. So thank you.
Any questions from anyone on that one?
Hey, thanks for coming in, Mark. And it's probably just worth telling everyone about how you've taken down some already as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I drive past it, you can visually actually see how good it looks compared to what's there. And a lot of the feedback I get locally is the safety concerns of the cars parking along there. And I know that'll change obviously with the development across the road, but from our point of view, if we were able to help with getting the trees down, maybe not practically, but financially, do you think the club are up for putting the fence in and then working with Trees for Canterbury?
Absolutely. Look, this is not something that we've got our hand out for funding for. We would love to I'll call it how it is. A bit of assistance would be really handy, just to get the project expedited and get it, on the back burner, and then it's done. Anything would be incredibly welcome. But a specific project to get we do have a plan to get the balance of funds, whatever that may be, from members and various campaigns, as I alluded to there, with fundraising events and things that we've got lined up. But we haven't pushed play on any of those just yet, because we don't want to socialise it to too many people till we've actually got a plan in place. If that makes sense. So we've just kept it pretty be close at this point.
No, that's really good.
If we can go to our members and say, look, we push these buttons
Yeah.
to get to where we are,
Unlocks everything else.
and then they go, well, great.
So what's the final image look like?
The final image is purely and simply a 1.8 metre high tall fence,
Yeah.
most likely dark green or black, but most likely dark green, along that boundary. And in behind that, the plantings I mentioned before, which will source through trees for canopy, and there'll be native trees in behind that. So if you can kind of picture yourself driving along and seeing tall fence, grass, trees.
Because the couple of images at the moment where you can just see into the golf course look great.
Yeah. It's just, it's changed.
That's what Sam was alluding to.
So
So
it just looks great. So are you picking this up, Sam? What's the way forward from here?
Yeah, so we've caught up about it. We talked to Justin at the airport, so they've got a community fund as well to maybe help. So I think you've got to catch up with them tomorrow, talk to them tomorrow.
Yep.
And then it'll be just how because initially we thought, and sorry, I won't drag it out, but initially we thought, could we get the council to kind of come in and do the plan and everything? But actually these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's actually just some funding to get the project, like you say, to unlock the rest of the funding and then actually get the trees down. Once the trees are down, I've got no doubt that it'll all be sorted. And I think it might be worth just mentioning when you did the trees initially, it was effectively volunteers, wasn't it? And a couple of your groundsmen that did it, and it took. I think we were there within about 20 minutes to try and penalise you, but
it did take a week
Yeah.
to do 70 metres.
yeah. So it's a big project, but I think we probably have a role in helping enable it so that it helps, and whether that is through the city, city identity, whatever it is, or whether we could do something locally to speed it up. But I think maybe the best bet is, I don't know whether it's catch up with one of the team.
Yeah, I think
Sort of-
Lisa has been
Cool. And then we'll just figure out how to get it through the system to get it moving.
figuring out the best.
Yeah, because the reason I ask is their budget is nothing like a council budget. I mean, if that was a council project, you'd be adding a zero. Along there like that, it's just so different. And it's the city's identity as you come in, it's Memorial Ave, not Hedgerow.
But the beauty of what they're doing, and this is just where we need to work out the quickest way to get them some funding, is it's a city identity thing, but they're not asking for us to run the project. So it's so much
Even
cheaper
better.
for the city to
So
go.
much cheaper.
We get something from the airport, something from whether it's our board or a pot of money somewhere, and then these guys can just go away and do it. So it's just, but if you're working with Lisa, we'll just figure out how to get something through the system, So, but it's such a good project and we don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So it's, best of both worlds.
Cool. And I had one question. What kind of mitigations would there be for, I guess, it looks like the hole that's closest to the road is going up towards the airport for a big hook out onto the motorway? Because I guess that does provide some shelter at the moment.
The good news is that, Jason, we actually redesigned the course when NZTA took some land away about 15 years ago, and we mitigated against that happening by moving that whole fairway in 50 yards off Memorial Ave. So touch wood, since that happened, no one's ever put a ball out there.
Yeah, okay. Because there is that big stand of trees closest to where the tee is there, I'm looking. So I guess that protects the hook off the tee, and then everything from there, it's not really gonna, you're not gonna shank it that bad.
Correct.
Okay.
Just the final one. How many roughly members do you have?
We've got circa 830.
Yeah, so it's a big.
30, and that was a good diverse membership, age and culture. It's really good.
Cool.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for that.
Thank you, folks. Cheers. Have a good meeting.
It's an easy
Next
one.
up, we have the third public forum, and we have Maincha Potra will speak on the Russell Street, Fulton Street intersection.
Hi.
Oh.
Ciao everyone. Thanks for taking the time to listen to us. I've got this is the problem. This is a refuge crossing on Russell Street, and it's heavily used by teenagers, cyclists, parents with young preschool aged kids, and children on scooters, bikes, on foot. It's heavily congested around school starting, school closing. So I've prepared a couple of slides to speak to this. And unfortunately, I didn't come with solutions, but I didn't know we were allowed to do that. So I have lots, but this is just, I guess, highlighting the problem. And, you know, if you want solutions, I've got them too. But this is Russell Street. The area surrounding Russell Street, and it's also the Elmwood normal school zone. So for context, I'm a mother of two. Our youngest is at Fairley, which is on Garden Road, and our oldest is at Elmwood. We live just off Russell Street, and we have to cross Russell Street 4 times a day, 5 times a week, because our preferred method of getting to school in kindy is on foot. And if you just go to the next slide, this is Russell. So you can see that it is, and it's evolved to become like a main thoroughfare for, I guess, it's a school access route. On the next slide, it just shows you that on that road, there's 2 key traffic lights, and they're the official ones. I haven't noted the one on the road. On the next slide, and then the next one, I'm just highlighting the schools that are around Russell Street. Not all of them are in the Elmwood zone, but I've just noted Boys High and Christ College, Cathedral Grammar as well, because I've noticed that heaps of those kids are on that cycle route there as well, and crossing Boys High in particular. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think that crossing that you saw before highlights it perfectly, that you've got cyclists, prams, you know, young kids. It's just so congested, cars, people turning from Fulton onto Russell. And I'm just amazed, all of the evidence, I guess, that I've heard, it's all anecdotal, and they're all near misses. They're all kind of like cars, like just not paying attention and bumping into the car in front. I think every week we see glass on the road. So none of it has been significant enough to warrant like calling council about it or the police. But for me, I guess the problem is, and I'll show you some images soon, is that the thing to happen, it would be incredibly traumatizing. You know, we're kind of talking about a person getting hit by a car, essentially. And if we go to the next slide, you can't even see them on the screen, but these are the refuge crossings. So there's 3 along there. And I guess this is sort of the key problem. You've got these 2 sets of traffic lights, but most flow on foot happens in between those traffic lights. And the one that I'm focusing on is the Fulton Ave one, which is in the middle, the green dashed line that you can see there. On the next slide, I've just got some images. There's no real indication for the motorist that there is a crossing there. Like I said before, I cross it 4 times a day, 4 times, 5 times a week. And when I get in the car, like I don't see it, which is embarrassing to admit. But there's just something about that road where you just want to keep going straight ahead. And I think in terms of solutions, that's probably a key one. Our previous principal, they said that they've been trying to make this a safer crossing for years, like a decade essentially. And nothing has really happened here. All they've managed to get is a sign, which isn't even close to the crossing. And it's one of those illuminated signs that doesn't work often. And in the next slide, you know, it's just showing all these vulnerable people trying to cross. And then the next one, and I think this is kind of the real catalyst for me being here, is a couple of weeks ago, a car drove through one of those safety bollards and it flew out of the ground and into that fence, which you can see now is patched up. And, you know, like at peak, like I guess school pickup drop-off times, traffic doesn't move that fast. but people kind of have their blinkers on and they're just motivated by getting to their destination. They're not really looking at what's happening around them. Outside of those hours, it's really fast moving traffic, and I understand that it's an arterial road, but those previous slides showing all the schools that are dotted around there also show you that it's a really heavily like pedestrian and cyclist community as well, if that makes sense. And so I guess, there's many things that myself and other parents and community members have talked about, like getting letters from all the principals and the boards and doing a log of incidents. But I guess I'm just wondering, like, what is the best strategy for us? I think the most important thing is visually making it more prominent. I don't think you're going to change people's patterns of use. They're not going to go all the way up to Glandover Road to cross to then go back down. But yeah, it's I'm wondering what can we do here? And I think, the next thing that will happen is someone's going to get hurt, and we just don't want it to happen,
Great seeing you again. I enjoyed our conversation on the footpath when we first talked about this. So thank you for coming along today. And great that you showed that video. One of the other things which I recall we talked about at the time was also when when there is a lot of traffic and the traffic stops and lets people go through, and then some people do cross, but on either side of the road on both directions is actually cyclists as a sort of a cycle lane. And then what you've got also as well is children that they see the car stopped, they walk out with a sort of relative confidence, and then the next thing you know, you've got somebody on a scooter or a cyclist coming through, and they don't, the children or the person crossing doesn't know to look, and also the person on the cyclist isn't aware of why the traffic is stopping. So you talk about solutions. One of the things I think we had talked about is just potentially that green paint. Sort of like, would it be 10 feet, 20 feet either side of that particular crossing, which would just as a visual reminder. So that's one solution. But yeah, I think it's really something you need to take to our traffic team and just sort of see in and around lighting. Or I noticed in one of our photos you had the blue arrow sign for keeping cars across. But actually, if there's a better way or a better signage that we can include.
Yeah, and I think like one thing that I didn't mention, but it sort of undermines like children's independence. There's so many families who won't let their children go to school by themselves, even though they're of an age where that's beneficial to them. And I think it should be encouraged, walking to school and having that independence. It's good for them. But most that live on the other side of Rossall, it just makes their skin crawl, the thought of having their precious people, crossing that road.
I went to Fairleigh and then I went to Elmwood, and Russell Street all the way back then was the scary road to cross, like even then. So and I agree there, it's that even when it's like the Kia safety crossing, I think that's what it's called. That's been there for years. So thank you for coming to the board for this. A few things on my mind. One is definitely adding something visual is important, because I agree you're not going to be able to change people's behaviour, because people just want to get to school and get to work fast. But there is also something that we're looking at, which is a Mirabelle Safety Traffic Committee, made up of people who are passionate like yourselves, whether it's parents, whether it's school principals or school representatives, because this area is so concentrated with school kids. That is also why it's making this area so dangerous. And that's your point exactly. It's kind of becoming this chicken and egg situation where the traffic is unsafe, so more kids don't walk to school. So there's more traffic on the road, making it more unsafe to walk to school. So I feel like it kind of needs infrastructure, but also something around like, we're not sure what will come of, like what the solutions will be out of this committee, but we know that there are really passionate people like yourself. So I'm looking at Natalie at the back of the room. I'm not sure if you know Natalie, or you've been talking. Awesome, cool. So I think what I'm trying to say, or maybe you've been, well, I think David and I and James, he's an apology, but we're all really keen.
Yeah.
We know this is an issue, so now it's about coming up with some
Okay,
solutions.
that's really great. There'll be a lot of happy parents. But I think the wider community would benefit as well. You know, I live on a street with a lot of elderly people and they just stand there for ages and no one sees them. It's awkward, actually.
That's cool, right, yeah, so I think we'll work with staff to see what we can do to get a solution in the box here and keep that moving.
Thanks so much for your time.
Brilliant.
Right, I've got one more deputation and then we will move on to the meeting. So we have Fred Van Slooten to talk about Cricklewood Reserve and a tree removal.
Hi, thank you for letting us come and talk to you. Not as exciting as these other projects, and unfortunately, we want to remove a tree rather than do plantings, but for good reason. So yeah, obviously, I'm a ratepayer and owner of a house board in Cricklewood Reserve. And I'd speak on behalf of myself and my good wife dearly behind us. So firstly, thanks to James McDuff for doing the comprehensive report on the Cricklewood Reserve, including the previous history. He's done certainly captured all the information. The only thing against it is his recommendation was to decline the application, but hopefully you can assist with that. So I've got a few notes and a few slides and a few more notes. So basically they'll put you in the zone. So, and then I have a few words about the issue. So firstly, how many of you have been to the Cricklewood Reserve? Do you know where it is? Some of you is, no, that's great. It always helps, but I'll give you a few pictures. So it's a nice residential reserve. I guess it was instrumental in the reason why we bought there back in 1992. So, you know, we've raised our two kids there, and the trees and the kids have grown immensely over time. Unfortunately, the kids have stopped growing, but the trees haven't. And the trees, when we moved in there, were small. I mean, obviously the subdivision at that stage was probably about 8 years old, so everything was sort of looking at it at prime, I suppose, when we bought it. And with our kitchen, I mean, it was great overlooking the reserve. We sort of had an extra bit of lawn and stuff, and just a nice outlook. But unfortunately, over time, they've sort of grown. I mean, there was a covenant on the fences, so they kept low again to go in with the whole area. So maybe we kick off a few of the slides. So that's 210. So we've already been there here quite a few years at that point. So they were stowing quite a bit of size then, and that's when there was already issues being shown about those trees and the silver birches in the area. If we come through the slide, so 214. So it was interesting back then. We had a deputation of nearly all the residents to the council rooms here. I don't know if there was anybody here back then. Yeah. Okay, well, that's great. That's great. And we had a number of people actually come out to the reserve to look at it. And at that stage, obviously, the flavour was with the silver birches and the issues with health and stuff. But they were, again, the seed drop was phenomenal. We've still got seeds in our top of our two-story house that have got into the roof space from back then. So we wanted, again, things to be changed, including the oak trees were a problem back then because they were coming away. But they put in a reserve plan and that was actually changed, and then they put in a whole lot of maples and that was really nice. And they're looking really good now, but the oak trees are still growing. So, you know, for us personally, it's been damaging all our guttering. I don't really want to replace it yet because it's still obviously getting more stuff in it, but all our high-level guttering is all, I've got to replace some of the low-level stuff. Cleaning in the autumn, we've got an extra large bin, probably takes around 6 large wheelie bins in the autumn through there for a period of probably about 3 months, cleaning up the backyard. So I don't know, flip through another couple of slides. Just putting in the pictures. So yeah, the last slide, so that was a picture of the plan, and that was in, I think, the report. 225, yeah, the trees obviously grown in large, quite a lot there, and got a lot of height to it. And the roof's not looking too flash either, actually, in there. So next slide. Yeah, just for an idea, this is the leaf drop, and I'm not sure whether some of that was pushed there by the guys doing the mowing or not, but this is right by Merrin Street. I mean, that's about 2 foot high. And pity help the guys living in that house there, because that tree overshadows that boundary by about 5 meters, I would say. But I've only done the submission on my own because I put it in through the council system. So, but I know other residents some are quite up in arms about some of the issues there, stealing their sun. You jump another one there. So 226, so that's a current one from Canterbury Maps. I mean, they have trimmed the edge along the boundary, so it's sitting right on the edge, but it doesn't really cut the mustard. Yep, there's showing the height of it. Say when we moved in, and like that other photo back in 2010, it was about a quarter of that size. What have we got next? Yeah, so the dining room, obviously you can see the trees just towering above the house. Go to the next slide. That's out of the lounge. Again, you can just see the sun coming through there. Jump to the next slide. So that was out of the report really, and it said about some of the key points for removal. And I think we ticked the boxes for all those reasons. And if you all agree, I can probably stop talking now rather than run through the rest.
You go, that's good.
So yeah, so we can move on from there. So this is going to back in 2014, and there was basically a loose agreement that at that stage they would do the silver birches, and then sort of 3 or 4 years time they would look at the oaks. Now we've sort of let that slide by about 12 years, which is why I've come back now thinking, well, hopefully I've got a pretty good case that we need some work done. And we personally like the tree that's facing our place removed. If you want to discuss the other trees, that's fine. But obviously, at the moment, I'm just looking at our tree because that's what the submission is about. Grab the next slide. So yeah, again, going back to the history, but if you've read the report, then it's all there. Jump to the next slide. Yeah, so the key points out of that report there, I guess, was the larger trees dominate the reserve, and this was in 2014. This will only become worse. It has root damage to fence lines, already an issue. Yes, the footpath needs replacing now. It's all broken up because of the tree roots. And obviously the ongoing light issue is only getting worse. So interesting, I had a wee look, the rates we've paid since 2010 for our house there, $78,000. Hopefully there's enough money left over in that you can do the trees. But yeah, it shows you, and that's not even going to 92, so there's another 2 years. So, and other things that affect us is, obviously the house itself, that morning sun is what you sort of live for when you get up in the morning, have your breakfast, not there. So I definitely love trees, love especially some beech trees and stuff like that look really great. But there's a saying, I suppose, that a weed is just a plant in the wrong place. On this basis, we've got a very large weed. Yeah. So, yeah, I hope you understand sort of the issues around that, how it affects us and the neighbours. I mean, at the moment for me, it's a two-day-a-week issue. I'm soon going to retire, then it becomes a 7-day-a-week issue, because I mean, to sit there in the morning with the sun coming in, and we've enjoyed that. I mean, we've always got the lights on in the area, because even when the sun goes to the north, obviously you've still got, the dark shadow of the trees now. Come wintertime, obviously the leaves drop off, that causes a problem, but the shading is still huge through there. So really like to give us some consideration. After sitting there for 32 years, I think the trees, whilst they are in good condition, and James has sort of specified that, it's just the right tree in the wrong place. And it was in a big open area, you've got Avonhead Park there with some big trees, great, but the reserve is only about one section wide, and having oak trees that are 16 metres high is, they're as high as what the section is wide. So hopefully you can, I know it's a big ask for one person with about one tree, but it's been a big issue, and it's not like, most people move every 7 years or so. We've been there 32 years and don't intend on moving on anytime soon. Or can't with all the junk.
So you'll keep paying rates, is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't want to. Discount borrowed time. So yeah, that's sort of what it's about, and yeah.
Any questions from anyone there?
Yep. One. So you ticked the box being like pruning wouldn't suffice. What is it about is it just, I'm curious to know, like, do you find that when it prunes it just comes back, it just as a cost?
It's 16 metres high. I mean, you'd have to prune it at about 10 foot, and then after 2 years, it was interesting. The son actually used to play with growing a few trees and plants. He played around with some of the seeds and stuff from the oak trees. I mean, after about 3 years, they were this high. We had one that was about 5. I said, "That's coming out of the garden." It was just, they do grow. They do grow that quick, eh?
Yeah, and it's as you mentioned, the issues that you're also finding with shading as well.
That's the big issue, the shading, and they planted all the maples in there. And, that's sort of, 12 years ago, they're coming to a nice size and, trees obviously are small. You think, I wish they're bigger. They get to the right size, they look great. And then it's a case of, are they in the right location, start getting too big. And I know that like the guys who do the subdivisions, they want to make them look good when they're selling the houses. So oak trees and fast growing stuff is great, but you've got to go for the slow growing stuff for the long term look in those areas, So yeah, you can hit the last slide. Yeah.
Be clearer.
Not much.
Any other questions from anyone on that one?
So just, that's like pretty self-explanatory from my point of view, but if we were to take that tree out, so we have a policy around the city, which actually seems to work quite well, is we take one out, we put two in back into the city. You're not necessarily opposed to another tree going in there, are you? It's just that one's not the right place.
You start on another tangent. The funny thing, when I first put the first application and sort of get it removed, I heard get an automated reply, got nothing. And then I think I put the second application in under a different job number, nothing. Look outside, there's 2 new trees planted outside our house and no consultation. And no, so at that stage, I actually went to the complaint side of the council, put that in, and that was after that. So it was 3 applications over a period of probably 3 months that I made a phone call as well, and they said, oh yeah, so-and-so will talk to someone, they'll get back. Still nobody got back. So after the complaint, that was when James got hold of us, and he's been working through since about August last year. And of course that's dragged on because, we've got a council election coming up, so we can't go to there next month. So it's taken like sort of a year from when I started the process to get to here now, in fact, probably longer. So I was pretty disappointed that, with 2 applications, no one made contact, not even just an automated email come back to me. So it took to a complaint. So what do? I rang up, got no reply. I got the right people, I think, but just nobody followed up. And I know everybody's got trees and it's a tricky one, but, we have waited a long time to sort of say, well, enough is enough. So yeah.
But if we were to put something.
So the original question, well, it's interesting that not so keen unless it's the right tree. And I know you've got policies.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy Murray, who has actually been there longer than us, in fact, he was there when he moved in. You'll notice there's actually almost no trees in front of his house, because when the developers first put the trees in, he said, there's no way they're going in front of my house, because he had vision obviously looking way ahead. He knew what it was going to do, and that's on his north side, obviously. Yeah. So the right tree, yeah, but at the moment, there's all those maples being planted, and right next to that tree that's there is a big ash, which is that's probably on the list as well, but it's not quite as in our field of view. So there's a substantial tree right there already, and I don't know how many metres that would be, but that's probably approaching 10 metres high. But it depends how you work with the policy. I mean, I'd rather have a small tree than the big one.
Oh, it was just more the principle of if we were looking to do something back in that reserve, we just try and not get, we don't want to get to a point where there's nothing in them.
Yes, absolutely.
And it actually doesn't help the value of the area in terms of amenity value.
But the smaller stuff, which is slow growth,
all fit for purpose.
Yeah, I mean, we can work in. I mean, we've got water there. I know you have to water trees, so that wouldn't be a problem to look after something that was put there.
Yeah,
but
no, that's good.
Put it in front of our gate that goes into the reserve, though, like they did the last time. Was like it was, we'll get this guy back, put 2 trees in and fix them.
Don't worry, we're not that important.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks very much for giving up your time. Appreciate that, and hopefully you'll look at it favourably.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Feel free to what? Feel free to play.
Got a nice hockey game at 7 o'clock. So
you're gonna
discuss it? Yeah.
Can we do it now?
So we'll just moving through the agenda really quick. Item 6 on the agenda was presentation of petitions, of which there are none. So then we move through staff reports, and we may as well just whip through item number 7, because I don't think that'll take a particularly long period of time, and then we can just get on to Cricklewood Reserve. So item number 7, we had Sean Ward, the team leader. Are you online, Sean?
Yes, I'm here. Afternoon, everyone.
Great, thank you. Did anyone have any questions for Sean?
Just one, Sean. Why is it a road, not a street or something else? Couldn't find that in the report. Given that it's not very big, I thought roads had.
It's not very long. No, I don't think they do. Road and street is sort of interchangeable. There's not necessarily a directive to one or the other.
Well, Panico Road sounds better than Panico Street, so just rolls off better.
Happy to second.
I'll move.
We've got to move. Yeah.
Yep.
Aaron, you're happy to move? Okay. David, second. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you, Sean.
Right. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Right, with that, we move on to item number eight being Cricklewood Reserve, request for tree removal. Toby, there's Toby.
Yep.
So,
James isn't able to come today, so I'm here. I'll take the report as read. Just on the 2 trees that accidentally got planted, that was a system error. There was a replacement.
There was no
so as soon as we heard about it, they got removed.
it's quite free.
And I'm not sure why. We do have an automatic email that generally comes out when we get an application. I know James dealt with this as soon as we heard it, but I didn't know about it, so I'll have to check the system and see why they weren't coming through.
Thank you.
I'll remove option 2.
Option 2. So no one else had any questions on that one?
Just
Aaron?
Just on the replacement, when the people, if that goes through, the submitters said around smaller trees. Our board has been keen on seeing some edibles go in various parks and stuff. Is that a possibility? Because they're generally smaller.
Generally smaller. The reason we're a little cautious about putting in edible trees is the kind of care that they need, and they need more regular pruning. Fruit trees are usually growing and focused on fruit production, so they get a lot of resistant diseases, so they need a more frequent visit. So we generally do fruit trees where we've got someone from the community who's really interested, and then we know it gets looked after.
Right. Okay. So that would be that option. So if that happened, there's always the chance to talk to some neighbours and come and say, hey, let's get a couple of lemons going, or almond or whatever. And then the other one is natives. So Ko-Fi Beach, that kind of thing.
There is quite a nice maple thing going through there, and there are some other smaller maples that could go in there as well. That could go quite nice.
Right. So you want to switch to something that has less debris?
Potentially, yeah, we can. Yeah, we can certainly look at a Ko-Fi or something like that with less debris. Yeah.
It's something that obviously works with what's there.
Yep.
I had a question. There was reference back in 2014 when there was an assessment done around the silver birches and whatnot at the time, and it was talked about some of those other trees being removed there at the time and then that not happening.
Yes.
Do we know, was that just one of those things that just slipped through the cracks over time, or was it a change in policy?
It
run to the
was
bridge type
probably something that slipped through. That happened well before I came.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I saw that landscape plan and saw the trees that weren't removed, so we went and had a look to see if those were removed.
Yeah.
And they weren't, so we'll address that.
Yeah.
When we go through, because I understand with the policy that if a tree is removed, you then plant 2 more.
Yep.
If you're looking at planting them back in this reserve, can consultation or engagement go out to residents? So it's now where the positioning of the tree planting is, so then we don't get into a situation like this again?
Yeah, we can do that. What we'd tend to do first is we'll look and see if there's actually a suitable site there. So the policy says the first place we try and go is the same place, otherwise somewhere else in the reserve, or if we can't, then we go somewhere else nearby. So we would go and have a look, and we know what the trees are going to look like when they mature. We know if there's going to be space. We'll know a lot of the issues that have come through, and we'll sometimes go, actually, this is probably not suitable for another tree to go in that same place. And then we might look at another reserve. I have had a very brief look in there when I was driving past one day, and it is already got quite a healthy tree population in there.
It's good.
So whether we look to put one back in that same place or whether we go elsewhere. We also look for diversity in age as well. So if they're all already planted all the same age, we may look at doing some planting there later to create that age diversity.
So I'm happy to second for removing it, but if we get to a point where, like, I'm just conscious of what they've said about the other 2 trees, like, are we better to sort of, or can we do the whole reserve at once and do it right, and then we don't have to go back again? Like, how do we go and address that? Because we'll remove this one, but I suspect then it'll just create more work, because neighbours will quite rightly go, hang on, if they've done it there. Like, is there a way we can just be proactive and go, actually, let's just do a planting plan?
I can absolutely do a planting plan for the thing and come back to you with a landscape plan.
So could we approve removing this one and then request
proactively
just so that we're not,
because we come back with a plan.
And when I'm just trying to think of a way, you can still have it, and it's like, how do we save you guys time? How do we not, how do we keep residents, keep the process moving?
We can do that.
When it's
to throw it into another program, I can throw it into the urban forest program, and we can do that as the next batch of plans that are just about to go out. So we'll throw that in there as well.
That'd be great, yeah.
And we'll just include consultation with the neighbours about some removal as well.
Particularly because it's referenced from 2014.
Yeah.
It's like, it seems like an outlier that probably we just need to tighten, so.
So we will probably progress, we can either progress with the removals that got approved in 2014, or we can hold off on those ones and just look at this tree
So
and do a full landscape.
So the ones that got approved in 2014, are they the other trees as well?
Yeah, the other trees that are still there.
Just carry on.
Yeah,
Well, that's kind of where I was getting to, so actually don't even worry about creating the work.
Yeah.
Just.
I'm sorry, I might have confused you there. I don't know what other trees people are complaining about in the reserve. I just know that the 2014 plan had 3 or 4 other trees that were referenced for removal. This was not one of them. This was removed at a later period again.
So we still need to approve this one independently.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm not aware of the other trees that people have issues with. I'm just stepped in here for
Okay.
James.
So
we can still come up with a landscape plan.
yeah, sorry, I thought it was the other oaks. I was thinking if that was the case, let's just get on to it. But if it's not, then can we do it where we get the whole thing
I'm not
sorted?
certain if it is. We
Yeah.
can just redo a plan for it. And that'll cover the planting as well.
Yeah, so we progress and remove this one, and then we get the
Get a
plan
new
to
plan.
try and tidy the rest of it up, and then it's sort of done and dusted, and yeah. Thanks for that, that's great. Yeah.
That's right, yep, thank you.
And sorry,
Just
does
down.
the tree get recycled?
No, it's big enough.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about milling?
Yeah, that, and then there's another one about they send the trunks off to somewhere around the river that turns into some fungus farm or something.
Yeah, can look into that one.
Yeah.
Because that'd be for truffles, being an oak.
Right, yeah, they send them off and there's someone that recycles them into something that we do. So all the small stuff gets in the chipper, the big stuff goes off and gets reused, yeah.
I think most of this will fit through the chipper,
Oh, right,
potentially. I'll have to have a look.
right. Thank you.
Right, yeah, I just before we go directly, no, you can go, I just, I guess, Aussie debate. It just seems to me, looking at the reasons for removal, that it's just worth highlighting that there is definitely a strong element of property damage here, and also just a wrong tree being planted in a very small space that's having a significant impact on the day-to-day living of the residents in the area, just because of the sun, the leaf litter, and just some of that property damage in the area. So between this one and those other ones in the area, it would be really good to get those addressed, and I think that does clearly fall into that other issue. So I'm happy to support that.
Can I also add something around that as well? I think what was super compelling is these are residents who have lived in the area where the trees were not that big. Like
Yeah.
we've had applications where people come, but the tree has been huge when they've moved in. This feels like quite a unique case as well.
It's not a case of moving next to, something which was already there and then finding an issue with it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, and so we had a mover for that one. Ben was to move. Sam to second. All in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you very much, everybody.
And I'd like to say thanks very much, because I think that was a very well written argument for you people here about what I said, and then looking at the bigger picture, which I think is exactly what, we are, for you people as community board members. So thanks very much.
Great, no worries. Awesome, thank you.
Enjoy your ice hockey.
Yeah, I bet I'll still get one piece on. Yes.
With that, we move on to item number 9, being the local place renewals. We have Dalesbury Park concept plan, and we have Barbara.
Sure, thanks for having me. I assume you've read the report, so I'm just here to answer any questions you might have.
Anyone have any questions on that particular one?
Exciting.
I feel like I'm always asking questions, sorry, but I just wanted to get some clarity. So you are in favour of you're in favour of the first playground option, is that right? I'm just a bit confused because there's 2 different play spaces. Talk about the right report, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are 2 different designs.
Yes.
There's one there's one where there's this one here, which is like option 1.
Yeah.
And then option 2, it sounded like residents liked that one a bit more.
Yes.
And then you also went a next step further and heard them about the seesaw and added that seesaw.
Yes.
And then but then the recommendation is to go with option 1. that play space. Have I got that right?
That's where I asked Bridie to please change the wording to option 2 because I realised that
Got it.
was reflected
Okay.
the wrong one.
I was confused.
Apologies, I didn't, she called me about the report and we were talking about it and I said, can you please I just realised I put the wrong number. No, it's
So
option
option
2.
Okay.
Sorry.
Recommendation.
Didn't mean to cause confusion.
No, I remember that.
Recommendation was for the final council plan. which-
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, yep, I'm happy with that.
We have any other questions on that? No, we have a mover.
Great, I'll move.
Lucy to move,
Second.
Bridget to second, all in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to item number 10, Te Kura Street parking improvements. We have Ashley.
Hello.
Hello.
I am happy to take this one as read. No one has any questions.
Any questions from anyone on this? Mover? David to move. Aaron to second, all in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Save my next one too.
To be fair, we should have nailed in this situation. Next time you can sit back and we'll sit there. We're not in trouble, but let's be practical about it.
It probably relates to both of them. It's just, do we have a list now of the school concerns? You know, like we've talked about it at some of this meeting with school principals, the rolling list of local stuff. Have we got to a point where we have visibility of that yet? And like, is there a list of?
That's a good question for Aidan.
I
I know that request has gone through, but that isn't something that I guess I look after or deal with.
So how would we address that? Because I'm pretty sure I've raised it about not through you, but through and at council, and I just don't understand why we don't have a list, because we talk about safety in schools.
We get it in the back of our next report, just get where we're at, because Yoldhurst has been flipped up and they're very happy. No,
Yeah, which is ridiculous. I mean, of course you can say it's a list around priorities in the community. So you can't go to an LTP and not have your list. So do we put something in this resolution that requests a copy of it, or? I mean, it's something that should be very accessible.
Try.
Yeah, I think.
I do know these particular types are much more reactive, so the schools are coming to us, and then when I'm within a school, so when I went out and St Bishop Day School, they mentioned how they'd like a P3, and same with Boys High, they were kind of saying, I don't know why there's a P2 and a P5, and we were like, we can clean that up. So
that's great.
These are much more reactive.
Can we just add a resolution that says request the chief executive to provide the list of local school safety transport, I don't know, improvements?
Yeah, it's not just school, is it? There's what's it called? It's got
It's like easy quick wins.
It's called the transport improvements register.
So request it from the chief executive.
yeah, just for our board.
Yeah, because we're going into the LTP.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to ask for different stuff or advocate for the budget allocations. So yeah, I thought that had come through, so I'm not sure why it hasn't.
Then I'm happy to move that. Second. David's happy to second. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you very much. Item number 12, strengthening communities fund applications. Lisa.
And Natalie.
And Natalie.
Karen.
And Karen and Marianne. Whole gang.
Okay. Okay, so we've got the team here today that did the assessing of the applications. The matrix was sent out to you quite some time ago and giving you opportunity to ask any questions. We received one from Bridget, which we've responded with. We didn't receive any questions from anyone else. So staff are here to answer anything if you want it clarified today. If the staff recommendations go through, you'll have a balance of 101, just over 101,500, which would go over and create your discretionary response fund for the year. We have approximately 30,000 coming back in our carry forward from last year.
So that would pretty much cover the board projects, which is the next item on the agenda. So you'd end up with just around about 100K for the year for DRF, which is roughly what we've always said, a little bit less, but.
Aaron.
Happy to move all of the recommendations as they stand.
Ben, your question?
Yeah, just two questions. First one is with groups that have applied for an amount and we've given them a substantially less amount. Are there any of those groups that won't be able to actually complete the project? So I guess what I'm asking you is, have they got the funds within themselves to continue and actually fulfill the project with the money that we're giving them?
We don't. I mean, traditionally, it's up to them how much they apply for. They know how much they usually get. Part of the consideration is what we've given them in the past, as well as the projects they're delivering. So their expectations, just because they're asking for more, doesn't mean they're actually expecting that larger amount. But some will get larger amounts, some will get lesser amounts. And part of the questions we ask is, will your project be able to go, continue if you get X amount? So
cool, perfect. And the second one was just around sorry, just lost it here. This one here, the Mirabelle Parish. I was just looking through the funding here. Do we have a 3-year funding agreement with them initially, did we?
yes, yeah. Multi-year funding happens when we've got stable certainty in terms of budgets and things like that. Given the current environment, we're not doing any multi-years. So we have in the past had, I don't know, what about 10 or something?
Yeah, 9 or 10.
Something like that. So so this year is no
multi-years this year.
No multi-years for anybody.
Right, so we were expecting to fund it after 3 years anyway. Is that what we're saying? Yeah, cool. Okay, perfect.
Any other questions from anybody? I'll just make a comment. It's just worth saying, when you read down through that list, you realise how much support and how many organisations there are out in our community actually kind of interacting on the frontline basis with residents in our community and how big of an impact they have. So, being someone who's been involved with a number of charities in the past, that any funding you get sometimes can be a godsend. So it's really cool to see the impact that we can have by providing that support in our local area and helping our communities to thrive. So thank you very much, guys, for working through that big list and all those applications, because obviously there's a number that don't quite meet the criteria, or there's some trade-offs we have to make around how much we can give. So that can be a hard decision to make at times, but we appreciate all the work that goes into that. So thank you very much. And so we had Aaron to move, Bridget to second, all in favour? Carried, thank you. And then with that, we have the discretionary response fund. So Mary-Ann, are you going to talk to that one?
Yep, so these are the board projects that we tend to do every year. So Celebrate Bishopdale, which Lisa's already busy organising, so I hope you say yes to that one. Establishing a youth development fund, Summer with Your Neighbours, which opened today. The youth activities and events, and community event support. So we've that's a bit of a new one. It's for covering things like Kia Ora Brindwa and Connected Kendall, the Burnside event. And there's a few other groups that have indicated that they would like to do some kind of local event as well, I think particularly in the Waimāero-Harewood area. And then the one around community liaison, which is those the bi-monthly meetings that the team hold. Plus we've added in some additional funding there to cover things like the newsletters that the groups are running, rather than just do ad hoc. We're funding it out of, from trying to find money to fund them out of all sorts of places. So it's just creating that wee pool of funding there that groups can access for their staff. So like I said, if you approve all those, we're still going to end up with a pretty healthy discretionary response fund for the year.
Any questions from anyone on that?
The only thing, and I'm happy to move it, it's just the community liaison meetings. And I know that it's always challenging because they're always on a Wednesday with a council meeting. Is there any way that even if the odd one in advance, so we can get it into our calendars, it's not LTP or something? Because what I genuinely would get along, even if it's to a couple of years, I haven't been able to get to one.
every time we've done that, we lose maybe 10 community members for one council member who may or may not turn up. So it's actually, we have done that. We've tried that, what, 3 years ago, 2 years ago? Yeah, so we staggered, which is why we have usually the thank you function on a Thursday, because that's you guys saying thank you to them. But then we get some of the regulars who turn up every Wednesday who don't come to that because it's a Thursday. So Wednesday and Thursdays are the most, the 2 days that the groups identified they could attend those meetings. So as I say, we did trial it previously.
A run of bad luck too, where the couple we had tried on a non-council day ended up being an emergency council meeting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was always, those,
Yeah.
the days.
Something going forward for this year you could revisit?
Absolutely.
And not even if it's everyone, just like if we could look at the calendar or something early out, because I'll genuinely make the time for it.
Yeah.
But we just can't
Can
get
they
to.
do later in the day on a Wednesday?
We can try that. I mean, to be honest, if you give us your best day,
Yeah.
and then we can try and work around that and see what they've got.
Even if it's just like once every 4 months, or it's just because I always see them in there. I'm like, we can't. None of us can get there.
The other alternative is once Hereford Street's fixed, whether or not you change the location into the function room at council, and we come down for.
Yeah,
No,
they're
they wouldn't
gonna pay to park and stuff like that. They're gonna.
Even if it's like one every so often, and if we can just do something on the calendars, because we'd actually like the ones we have been able to get to, or even if it's in that
Recess week.
Yeah, that third or fourth week every month. Like this week we haven't got a council meeting. So if it's Wednesdays, but it's that mornings. But I think there might have been a liaison meeting this month.
Yeah, we've last week.
Oh,
yeah.
right, yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
Calendar went.
So kind of like the third Wednesday of the month rather than the second, that might suit.
Yep.
But
I mean, we'll have a look at your calendars and see what spaces you've got.
Yeah.
And
now
then we can go out to the groups and say, look, will any of these alternative days or times or whatever work for you? Because there are groups that do miss out. And that's why we also change it to let's have them on a Thursday and then a Wednesday. So we were alternating at one point, but then we actually didn't get the numbers turning up on the Thursday. And so we can see that. But if we know that you've got definitely one day you guys are going to commit to, then
Well, now I've asked, we have to.
I don't see any reason why.
Well, they're actually quite useful because you hear what's happening. And I always feel bad showing up at the end of the year. It's like, oh, thanks, but you haven't seen them all yet.
So it is nice. We do get a few regulars along from the board and they do appreciate the groups appreciate that.
I've checked every Wednesday we've got a meeting until December.
Every Wednesday.
Yeah, there's a placeholder for every Wednesday. Sorry to do that to you. Although,
Let's just let the team
that's
work
right.
it out
We'll
offline.
look at it and we'll make sure
certainly.
at least one a year. Let's make a commitment to that.
Yeah,
You guys can come.
Yep.
And then will there be another principals meeting this year?
Yeah, because that was great.
We will get one.
Really good.
Yeah.
Well, what day of the week will that be then?
Well, I think
Because the
last
10 o'clock
time
thing
we
went
did
well.
worked really well.
Yeah.
It was a good day and a good time for them, so we'll try and do something similar.
That's where that list came from.
No.
That we haven't been able to get.
So Monday or something, it's always good.
Yeah.
All right, Sam was happy to move.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks.
Ian, happy to second. Let's let the team sit back from the table. Thank you. Marianne, not you two, I guess. Just shuffle to the side. Doesn't count for you. That's good.
Is the Zoom on? Jamie's just texted. He's like, I've been trying to log in, but it won't let me in. He said, I've been trying to log in for ages.
Yeah, that's
All right.
Days
All
ask
in
you.
favour?
Aye.
Okay. Carried.
Nay.
You can second that one.
Second, yeah, up there. Yeah, the Zoom's on. It's weird.
Sounds like a James problem.
Yeah.
Right, item number 14. Discretionary response fund application from Old Boys Collegiate Cricket Club, and Lisa, that will be you.
For the year. Very simple application. The cricket club are needing a new reel mower for their cricket. And they are contributing funds towards it. The current one has just reached its end of life.
No questions? Right,
Petrol, I hope.
happy to move?
Yep.
I'm happy to second. All in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you very much, Lisa. And with that, we move on to item number 15. Community Board Area Report. Marianne.
Happy to take the report as read and any questions while staff are still here in case. Pretty straightforward. Another month of lots of stuff happening.
No questions from anyone on that?
The only thing, sorry, Marianne, it's just not necessarily on the report, but are you getting much feedback on homelessness?
No, not in our board area, no.
Okay, all right, I'm happy to move that one. Can I have a seconder on that? David, a second. All in favour?
Okay.
Against? Carried. Thank you very much. Marianne. Another successful month. Item number 16, elected members information exchange. Who's got something that they want to share?
I was waiting for the last one. Just one around Staveley Reserve. So I've had some residents contact me about the lighting by the Girl Guides or the Scout thing at the back of Staveley Reserve, and just whether we can look at any lighting in that reserve. So I can forward it through to you.
Yeah, flick it through. So
I'm
is there
not-
not lighting in there?
No, I don't think so. I just had someone contact me that I've emailed through this afternoon. So there were a girl guiding group using the Avonhead Scout Hall every Wednesday, and having the path lit at night would be a massive improvement. So I don't know whether it's Staveley.
There's no lights there, are there? No.
So that would be just one thing that if we could maybe have a look at.
And I had some residents from Somerset Retirement Village on Cavendish reach out just around accessibility in and out of their entranceway. It's actually, there's quite a little drop down before you come up the camber back onto the road. Traffic moves quite fast, and there's cars on the, I guess, north or Styx Reserve side kind of block visibility, and they'd requested for some yellow lines to be extended to improve visibility there. Now, that seems to have got lost in the system, or it was closed, but haven't had any feedback. I haven't seen, did you have any feedback on that one yet?
It was closed off because someone said that they'd contacted the resident, so I've asked for a copy of that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a resolution to me, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. So I went out and and they asked me to raise it after also, so Victoria Hinsop forwarded that on to me. And it seems like a slam dunk, just get out there, paint a couple of little extra yellow lines on there and move on. Hopefully it's not one that takes 6 months to get a resolution on, because it is actually a safety hazard for the older residents there, and with the visibility and some of them being in smaller cars, it's quite hard to see over those cars that are on that approach.
When we had the one recently in Avonhead, the one by
yes.
Andrew Hensley, the traffic engineer, did that one. And I thought he had said that it's something that they're trying to get around the city and look at doing outside most of the rest homes. So I don't think you'd do a problem with it.
Yeah.
Just getting it on the list.
Just make sure it's in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Lucy and I were at the liaison meeting, and we had a talk from Ginny about Welcoming Week, which is now, and there's quite a few cool events and one at the Multicultural Centre coming up as well. So if you find it, I think it would be really good to share those with people so that they know they could head along to it. It's really cool, and it's great for our diverse community.
Great. All right. We'll call that an end to elected members information exchange and move to the closing karakia. Right, from that, stand, please.
Kia wātea, ke mama, te nākau, te tinana, te waira, I te ara takata. Oi ara e rongo, whakakaia ake ki runga. Kia tina, ui e tai kia.
And with that, we close the meeting at 5:48 PM. Thank you very much, everybody.